Hey guys, it's Lizzie here. Today I'm showing you this quick and easy back to school makeup routine using all Drugstore brands and how to create a full coverage look with that, which is absolutely perfect for if you suffer from acne or have a lot of scarring or imperfections on your skin that you feel like you want to cover up. So if you want to know how to recreate this look, then just keep watching. So firstly I'm going to moisturise my skin using a tiny amount of Feeling Younger from Lush, which is basically an iridescent moisturiser. So as we're using quite full coverage products, it's very important that we use quite a light reflective base just to make sure that the skin's not too matte. What you can do if your acne is quite lumpy or you have sebaceous cysts, avoid that area with anything that's slightly shimmery. So you might want to put it on just your forehead, for instance, if you have more lumpy acne on your chin. And for my foundation I'm going to be using Collection's Last Imperfection in shade 1, which is Porcelain. I'm going to start off with one pump of that on the back of my hand and just start to buff it into my skin with a brush. You can use your hands if you don't own any brushes, but just make sure that you've washed them beforehand. So firstly I'm going to apply just a thin amount all over and really buff it into the skin. I think a problem that a lot of people have with acne is that they use a full coverage product all over, even though the acne isn't necessarily all over their skin. It might be very severe and very red in places, but there might well be areas of really clear skin as well. And your face doesn't need a sort of one-size-fits-all approach to your foundation. Now the main focus of this tutorial would be to cover your acne as well as possible, but make sure that the overall time spent on doing your makeup is relatively quick, because I appreciate that in the mornings when you're getting ready for school or college you don't really have that much time. Okay, so that's what one thin layer looks like. I'm just going to go ahead and buff in a second layer on the areas where I need more coverage. I'm only using Drugstore brands within this tutorial because I think it's important to know that you can still get the same effects as with high-end products, but for a lot less money. So that's what it looks like with two thin coats. Now I'm going to take their concealer, and that is their Last Imperfection Concealer in No. 1 Fair. I'm just going to use the concealer under my eyes. I'm now going to just blend that in with my finger. Now taking a small amount of that concealer onto the back of your hand, take a small blending brush or a concealer brush. The reason you don't want to apply it straight from the applicator that comes with the concealer is because if you're covering any sort of spots or blemishes, there'll be a lot of bacteria in that area. You don't want to put the applicator back into the bottle. Now I like to really push the concealer into the skin and then just sort of buff out the edges. This is the palest concealer, which suits my skin tone really well, but if you are darker than me, then it's important that you use one that's the same skin tone on your blemishes. You can use a paler one under your eyes, but only slightly paler, and it will act as a highlight. But for any sort of spots and blemishes, you don't want to highlight them, you don't want to draw more attention to them. So make sure you use a concealer that is exactly your shade. So that might well mean buying two and mixing them together, which initially will be more money because you're paying for two products, but you're only using half of each, so it will last you double as long. Now I'm going to take Last Imperfection's Ultimate Wear Powder and a big fluffy brush and just apply that all over my skin. It does come with a sponge, but that will apply quite a heavy layer as it is already a foundation by itself. So as we're layering it with a liquid foundation, we need a less amount, so a brush will apply a thinner layer. As always, we can build it up in areas where we want more coverage, but you won't need that thick powdery layer necessarily everywhere. And the good thing with this is that you can take the powder with you to school and top up any areas throughout the day that may be starting to flake off, or your skin's getting a bit oily and you want to get rid of any shine. Because it comes with a mirror and a sponge, it means it's great to take with you in your bag. Now I'm making sure to pat the brush onto the skin and not dust it back and forth, because I don't want to move any of the foundation. Now over the eyelids it might have started to crease, so just blend that out before you start to powder them, otherwise you'll set that crease in place. So this is the product, and you can pull the foundation up, and underneath is a mirror and a sponge. So next I'm going to be doing my brows, and for that I'll be using L'Oreal Brow Artist Plumper in medium dark. And the reason I've chose this is because you can put it on really quickly. It adds some definition to your lashes and sticks them in place, and it's waterproof, and it's basically colour and a tint in one. You can get a clear one if your eyebrows are already the colour that you like, but it's quite good for someone like me that has really fair hair naturally but dyes their hair. So you can see the difference that makes and how quick and easy it is to use. Now I'm going to use 17's Instant Glow in Pink Bronze, and I'm going to take that across the cheeks. I'm just going to focus my brush on the bottom two colours for now. If you don't own any brushes, I would suggest a cream bronzer, something like from Bourjois. They do quite a few that are relatively cheap and in beautiful colours, and then you can blend that in with your fingers before you powder your skin. If you think the shimmery product might be a bit too much, you can use a matte bronzer. Rimmel has one which is absolutely lovely. Now on a soft eyeshadow brush, I've just taken the darkest shade just to run over the lid, just lightly, to add a bit of colour back into the skin. I find if you don't have much time in the morning, it's really best to use as little amount of products as possible. So having something like this bronzer highlighter palette with several shades in does make it a lot easier. And by applying it with a soft fluffy brush, it blends out the edges as you go, as opposed to if you were to apply it with something like this, like a flat shadow brush. That would give you a harsh line which you then have to swap your brush over and blend back out. So this sort of brush will save time when you just want a wash of colour. Now for mascara, I'm going to be using Max Factor's False Lash Effect in the waterproof formula. So there we go guys, that's the makeup look complete. As you saw, it's relatively quick and simple, and it's using just all drugstore brands, so it should be quite accessible to most people that are going to college or school. So thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Take care, bye bye.